Hey guys, welcome back to Key Roots, the key roots of sex addiction. My name is Collin. And I remember when the addiction cycle was first explained to me. It was like a lightning bolt of understanding just struck my mind. I don't know exactly why that was the case, but just understanding the cycle itself at that time led to some pretty good sobriety. My counselor explained the 4 stages of the addiction cycle, which are preoccupation, rituals, acting out, and then shame. Preoccupation is when your mind gets consumed with the thoughts about your addiction. You may start fantasizing or planning out your next acting out behavior. The obsession begins to take over your thinking. Then there's rituals. These are the habits or patterns you create around acting out. It's often the steps you take to get ready for your behavior, like checking your phone or browsing the internet, even if you're not sure why. Acting out, this is when you actually engage in the addictive behavior itself, whether it's watching pornography or sexually acting out with some individual, or any other compulsive acting out tied to your addiction. And then there's shame. After acting out, most people will feel guilty, regretful, or emotional pain. This shame can often lead to further acting out, creating a cycle of self-destruction. Since learning about this sex addiction cycle, I've learned that understanding the cycle itself isn't rocket science, but actually doing something about it, maybe it is. The more we learn about our behaviors and how they follow this cycle, the more we realize that we can actually do something to interrupt it. And the tools we can use to smash the cycle are really actually pretty simple, like getting away from the internet or going on a walk, using internet filters, or not carrying cash in your wallet. Sometimes that's making phone calls or going to meetings. All these things can break the cycle, but actually following through and doing them feels like the hardest thing in the world sometimes. I found that whenever I haven't used these simple tools, it wasn't because I didn't know how to use them. It was because I was afraid to use them. For example, making phone calls. When I think back, I had so many thoughts about making those calls. I thought I was interrupting someone else's life, or I wasn't sure what to say. I didn't want to hear what the other person I was calling was going to say back to me. My mind would tell me the phone call was going to go on forever, and therefore I'd put it off. These thoughts were absolutely dominating in my life. They made dialing a stupidly simple phone call or phone number feel like the hardest thing in the world. But here's the thing. I wasn't stuck because the solution was too complicated. I was stuck because I was afraid to take action. So what's the answer? Honestly, I'm not sure what that is for you. But for me, there have been several things that I've recognized that helped me along the way. First, there's the fact that I'd had enough of my addiction. The pain of continuing in the cycle eventually outweighed the fear of doing something different. I also got into some serious trouble with my wife that pushed me to do my work seriously. Sometimes I've even sat and meditated before making the phone call to calm myself down and get out of my head. Over time, I've done a lot of thought restructuring as well, learning how to calm myself and challenging those powerful negative thoughts. I've also noticed that the more I've interacted with others in recovery, the easier it's become for me. The fear is lessened the more I reach out. I hope these tips help you because I know how hard it is to break this addiction cycle. But just like any other recovery tool, it gets easier the more you practice. The key is to not let your fear stop you from taking the first step.